Hey guys, today I'll be reviewing the documentary Sanatorium by the Irish director Gar O'Rouke. In this spa, they really use the mud of the Black Sea to try and cure ailments as well as diseases and just make people feel better about themselves. This is Ireland's official submission for the 98th Academy Award for Best International Feature Film, and it is the third documentary the country have submitted in the Oscar race. In this video, I'm going to give you a brief overview of the film and analyse 5 different things about it, as well as having a look at how well it could do in the Oscar race. So let's roll and review that film. If you're new to my channel, my name is Paul, and I review the best of world cinema, and I followed the race for Best International Feature Film, from countries selecting their film to the final winner. Sanatorium's about a spa facilities is the like I've never experienced in my life. It is quirky in terms of the actual ex-Soviet building built in the 60s or 70s. There's also the passionate and quirky members of staff who make it their sort of reason for living as the country is invaded by Russia. This documentary is really trying to capture what it is like to live everyday life in Ukraine while you're being invaded. The facility itself has had so much turmoil in recent years. First the pandemic and then the invasion has meant numbers visiting the spa have gone from thousands a day to maybe a couple of hundred at best. We see the amazing customers who receive the treatments of the spa. Some are here to relax and get their massages using this amazing mud. Some hope to meet a special someone because they've been single for so long. There's people who have fought in the war and they're trying to recover and recuperate using this special mud.
Это 30 человек. Вы представьте, что было при 300, когда мы здесь 270 человек оформляли.
Вот там девочек на горизонте нема. Печалька.
А какое ебало, блядь, ты что, блядь, прямо над головой, блядь. Кого герои, это вот люди, которые не боятся, которые гости, которые нам приезжают.
So here are 5 interesting things about the film. Number 1, the use of post-Soviet building to make it a fascinating and visually stunning watch. This film has loads of quirky and aging equipment that was probably there in the 60s and 70s. It's certainly not the sort of treatments you would expect in the UK or probably other Western European countries. This is very unique and it feels a little bit like the Grand Budapest Hotel in terms of its quirkiness. The director has purposely captured the use of the building and this equipment to do the treatments to make it that quirky but really interesting visual array of different things. Number 2 is the fascinating personalities that use the spa. So for example, some of the people who stay at the spa, such as this mother with her 40-year-old son who is still single and is desperate to get married. They are really quite like a Wes Anderson film in terms of that dynamics. We see this woman desperately trying to organise competitions and table tennis and chess, a karaoke night, a disco, all these like interesting things that feels like she's on a Butlins holiday camp but for much older people. It is really sweet and endearing. And then, of course, we see the workers, we see the manual labourers who are having another coffee because they don't have a huge amount of work to do because they aren't the customers there for them. The documentary is really successful in getting across the charm of these individuals. While, of course, like every other country, there's multiple personalities. Ukrainians are as diverse as any other populations in terms of personality types and tributes to their character. However, there's an element of charm that I personally have found when I've visited Ukraine in the past, and I think it really resonates in this film in a really beautiful and wonderful way. Number 3 is it demonstrates a new view of Ukrainians. Since the invasion by the Russians, many documentaries have really focused on the impact of the war or demonstrating how horrific it is, and that is a really justified and important task of documentary making. This film is very different. It was initially intended to be shot before the invasion, so maybe the motivation of making this film wasn't about portraying what life is like now in Ukraine. Instead, it's trying to show what's happening in this glorious spa facilities. It never ignores the war. You hear the sirens of potential bombing threats, and you see this almost malaise in terms of not necessarily always taking it that seriously or not rushing to the bomb shelters or whatever it might be. You see the small nods to the Ukrainian flag and you see the occasional singing of the Ukrainian national anthem. it's always in the background and visually in the background as well, because there's moments where there's smoke from bombings and whatnot from across the river. However, it's not focused on the invasion, so it provides that multi-dimensional portrayal of particular Ukrainian communities rather than just focusing on them being the victim of an invasion. And it provides another side to the war where actually it's the impact of tourism. This facility used to get thousands of people. Now they've gone down to a low number of hundreds, which obviously has an impact on its viability, but the people who are running it are so passionate to maintain a standard of living that they continue it. And this is at the heart of the film, which makes it beautiful, but it also provides some agency for Ukrainians rather than be seen as just a victim of war. Number 4 is the way it covers the war. It's never fully up front and centre, but it's incorporated within the conversations. There is occasional slipping in moments of how the war has impacted individuals and their health and their family and their way of living. There's small bits of yellow and blue on a bracelet or a mug, just to show that Ukrainian identity and the situation they're in is always in the background and never front and centre. They are multi-dimensional people and they have lives as well. And number 5 is, and it's slightly a negative point, but some of the conversations, while often very charming, some of them felt very scripted or very set up. So they had that conversation. You know, these are real people and they're not actors. And sometimes you could really tell that. So you could feel the presence of the camera and the director in terms of what they're saying, how they're saying it, which sometimes took me away and out of the feelings of the documentary. But this is only a minor point, and I really enjoyed it. So overall, I think this is a charming and really well-made documentary, especially for the first film from the director. I think it really tells the story and feeling of what it's like to be one of these Ukrainians who use the spa facilities or run the spa facilities, and it gives them a multi-dimensional aspect to their character rather than just being the victim of an invasion. So let's have a look at how well it will do in the Oscar race. As I said at the start of this video, this is Island's official submission for the 98th Academy Award for Best International Feature Film. And Island in recent years has submitted some really interesting submissions for the Oscar race, whether they be feature film in the Irish language or international documentaries made by an Irish director. In the history of Ireland submitting films for the Oscars, they have had one film which received a nomination, which was for The Quiet Girl, which is in the Irish language. And then they've had 2 shortlistings, including Viva, which is in Spanish, and last year's Kneecap. Over all time, Ireland are the 44th most successful country at the Oscars. But in the last 10 years, they are a lot more successful, being ranked 24th, despite having 2 years not submitting films. So do I think Sanatorium will continue this trend in Irish Oscar success? I have to say, probably not. I think Sanatorium's a delightful little documentary that really gives great emphasis on a wonderful community feel on the shores of the Black Sea in Odesa. However, I feel it's not the type of documentary that does particularly well in the international feature film category. Usually for documentaries to get to the shortlist at least, there needs to be something quite unique or elevated about the documentary making process itself. I think to get a documentary on the shortlist, it really has to be quite innovative in terms of its documentary making or provide something unique or different to the type of filmmaking. And while I really enjoy Sanatorium and it tells the story really well, it does feel like this is a typical documentary style film and there is nothing new or different to the way it's made. And it's probably not particularly helped by Ukraine's submission, which is 2,000 meters to Andrika, which is a lot more innovative in terms of its storytelling, how it's shot, etc. And I think probably if either of those Ukrainian-based films get on the shortlist, it's much more likely to be Ukraine rather than Ireland. But this, of course, does not mean Sanatorium's not a good documentary. It's delightful, it's quirky, it's really watchable, but I just don't think it's a film that is the sort of film that does well in the Oscar race. So have you seen Sanatorium? If you had, put in the comments below, what did you think of it as a documentary? Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy the people? And how well do you think it will do in the Oscar race? Do you think it will add to Irish's recent success? If you want to find out how well it will do in the Oscar race, please do like this video and subscribe to Global Film Pool for more news and reviews for the Best International Feature Film Oscar race. Thank you very much for watching and I hope to see you again.